We have clearance, Clarence.
I am the Copilot.
What's up, everybody? Mel here again with Sunrise Compass. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting tools in your toolkit, Copilot Studio. So I brought in Rizwan Ahmed to talk about how to build custom Copilots. What's up, Riz? Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, thank you, Mel, for having me here.
Of course. So let's get into this. So tell me, what exactly is Copilot Studio?
Copilot Studio is your toolkit to create copilots, which in turn helps you build AI for your organizations.
In the past, I did a lot of reading and research on Power Virtual Agents. What makes those different from this custom Copilot new thing?
Yeah, so the Power Virtual Agents is like kind of like legacy, but this is the new name for that PVA. Microsoft is rebranded that whole landscape into like Copilot Studio. So now everything Copilot related, everything related to Copilot's extensions, even for Microsoft, is going to land, or you can do it from the Copilot Studio.
And the Copilot Studio can make these custom Copilots, and they're more dynamic in the way you can work with them, whereas Power Virtual Agents were more like simple task focused. Okay, so talking about custom Copilots, what are the key things that you need to do to get started with building those?
So for custom Copilots, if you're thinking about in terms of like your user stories, and you're thinking about how you can make your organization efficient, so you need to start looking at those kind of like small wins. So you look at your process. So we start by you doing the shadowing with the users. Like, you know, you look at their workflow, what they do all day long, and then you find out like, okay, this looks like we can do something better over here or save time for that user. You start looking at those things first.
Okay, so people are going to want these things like yesterday. So how fast can you create and deploy these custom Copilots?
So it's like any other project, IT project that we do. We define the scope, we define the purpose, right? Then we configure it, then we reiterate it, and then finally when everything looks good, we deploy to that environment and we are good, you know. It depends on what are trying to achieve with those things, right? So if requirements are simple enough, you can do it in a couple of hours. If you have something like a little bit complex, you can take days, like do it. Finance Copilot as an example, right? We delivered that in 20 days from design to production, right? And it was a pretty complex requirement for that matter.
Oh, and by the way, we're talking about the Sunrise Finance Copilot. We have another episode on that, so go check that out. That's right, and since this is part of Power Platform, it's low code, no code, so all of us can get started, right?
Yes, you can. And there are kind of like 3 levels of Copilot that you can do. You can do low code, whereas like you have a little bit of code in there. You can do no code, where you can use existing connectors that are 1400 plus out there, and you just click, and you start using them. And then the third one is like where you actually create actions for your custom APIs or custom requirements that you have, and you build on top of that. So wherever you fit in that, you know, layer, you can start building your Copilots.
Yeah, you can either do it all yourself or just get a little bit of guidance and help.
So if you have a requirement which involves like having help from a technical perspective, you can have your project's technical fellow or team member help you out over there, or you can start with what you have and see like where you are not able to fulfill that requirement, and then you can go from there as well.
Okay, so how does Copilot integrate with D365?
Copilot integrates with D365 very, very naturally, right? Like it's all built on Power Platform. So if you have virtual entities, familiar with them, you're familiar with the Power Automate, you can just link them together and get your business requirement done.
To show you just how easy it is to set up and use a custom Copilot connected to Dynamics 365, we're going to walk through a quick demo. In this example, we'll explore how a custom Copilot can be used to answer retail-related questions with data from your D365 system. Here's a custom Copilot that can handle general retail questions. First, I'll show you how it works, and then we'll take a closer look at how everything is configured behind the scenes. As an example, let's ask it when we can expect the next product receipt for a specific item. Once we ask, you can see the Copilot starts processing the request. It immediately triggers a topic we've set up called Next PO Line. This topic uses the item and warehouse information we provided to retrieve the requested data. The Copilot quickly returns with the purchase order details, including the expected receipt date, which is October 13th, 2024. Now, let's break down how this works. The Copilot relies on topics that we've configured in advance. These topics define the steps that the Copilot should take, where to pull the data from, and how to format the response. In this case, we've set up a next PO line topic to be triggered whenever someone asks about a purchase receipt. The topic is designed to ask for two pieces of input data. One, the item, and two, the warehouse. Once the Copilot gathers these details, it uses a template we've created to format the response before sending it back to the user. You'll notice the next step is to trigger a flow. This flow is responsible for carrying out the actual data retrieval process. The flow takes the input data provided by the Copilot and looks up the relevant entities in Dataverse or D365. It filters through the data to find the exact purchase order and its receipt date. Once the data is retrieved, the flow stores it in a string variable and passes it back to the Copilot. The final step is to display the templated response in natural language, which the Copilot then delivers back to the user. In summary, we've configured a custom Copilot by setting up a triggered topic, defining the data inputs, and using a flow to fetch the necessary information. Finally, we provided an output that returns the details in a natural language response. So with just a few steps, we've built a custom Copilot that allows workers to quickly access data in F&O using natural language. Okay, so any final thoughts for us, Riz?
Don't be ambiguous. Be very clear what you want to do, that topic or action to do. Don't expose data that you don't want to expose. So that's like very, very, very important stuff. And then the other part is how you want to present data as an output to the user. I think the last important part is the data size. Like Copilots are not built for like MBs of information flowing out to them.
It sounds like it's just like you and I working together, right? I have to tell you what I want. You have to understand me, and I have to make it concise. It's the same thing.
Yeah, of course.
So yes, you can get in there and build custom Copilots to make your processes better and faster. But the key is to focus on what you want to automate and improve. And then just get in there and do it. All right, catch you guys on the next flight of Sunrise Compass. Catch you later.
Shirley, I don't think so you have any more questions, right?
Actually, for the first time, I don't. But don't call me Shirley.
Shirley.